Hey guys, welcome back to Foreign Reacts. Like I've said in previous videos, I really enjoy doing these videos. The title of this one is going to be "What's the dumbest thing American has ever said to you?" And like I said before, I'll be moving to Europe, like literally moving to live. And I've actually released it on my Patreon. And I released it because somebody subscribed to my Patreon. And I was like so surprised, and I told I made it public in a channel update video, and like 6 more people went and actually subscribed, and I was like, what? So I just want to say thank you to everybody who's actually subscribed to the Patreon. Patreon is a little bit type behind the scenes, a little bit of you can support the channel, stuff like that. So a link will be in the description for the Patreon. So if you guys want to check it out, see what it's about, you guys can check it out, see what it's about. But I just want to say thank you for the love and support, and I hope you guys are continuously enjoying all the videos that I release. If you guys have any specific suggestions, leave those in the comment section down below. I'll try to get to those as soon as possible. And let's get right into this video, guys.
I'm kind of curious. What is the dumbest thing an American has ever said to you?
Where do I begin? So I was raised in the state of New York and originally from Ecuador, South America. And when I was about 12 years old, we moved to the South, specifically the state of Atlanta, Georgia.
ATL.
Was really excited to meet me, and they were like, "Oh, originally, where are you from?" And of course, I'm like, "Oh, I'm from Ecuador." And guess what they said? Ecuador, like,
what's that?
Where is that even like from? Is that like a place in Mexico? Is that like close to like Mexico? Like where?
You gotta take it easy with the Americans, man. They like things just America doesn't revolve around the world. The world is supposedly revolve around America. That's what Americans think. So you gotta take it easy with Americans, man. It's for me, I didn't know a lot of countries, and I'm not gonna front with you guys. I didn't know a lot. I really didn't, right? And even the country that I'm going to move to in Europe, I knew little to nothing about that country except for the name and practically the capital of that country. I knew nothing. I didn't know where it was on the map. I couldn't identify it, nothing at all. So my story is a big major thing for me. I was that ignorant, and I'm not that ignorant anymore. So you got to take it easy with them.
Where in Mexico is that? And then when I finally explained that it was in South America and that it's located exactly on the equator, they were still really confused. They were like, if Mexicans are from Mexico, like, what do they call your people? I'm like, oh, I'm Ecuadorian. Ecuadorian? What the hell does that even mean? Like, Ecuador.
I got a story for you guys, and guess what? It's also a racist story.
Oh!
I tried to do my makeup at the same time. So I was getting into a debate with this guy at the bar about refugees and immigration. And
Mexicans?
At one point he kept calling me Mexican, and I am not Mexican. I have Chilean descent, but I am not from Mexico. At one point he tells me I don't belong in this country, and I'm like, well then who belongs in this country, right? The natives, right? So I decide he's not worth my time, and I go back into my 6-foot-tall friends that would literally beat someone up for me. And I don't tell him what just happened because I'm trying to save this guy from getting an ass beat. Less than 5 minutes later, my friend comes in, Jamel, 6-foot-tall Jamaican dude. He comes in, he says, my hand hurts. And I'm like, what happened? This guy I was just talking to, he called him the N-word. And I realized that day that I cannot save someone from an ass beating that the universe is trying to give them.
Oh, so he got knocked out?
So while I was a student, I was a tour guide for the Parliament of Canada. So,
but like personally, let me tell you something about America. A lot of people don't get it. Like racism in America is so odd. It's to the point where it's more of a belonging type stuff, right? It's more of a belonging. Like I'm not talking like saying that there's no real racism. There very much real racism in America, but there is a form of racism where a lot of people gets it because they're different from Americans. Like you'll literally hear somebody say, "You don't belong here, get out," because you speak a different language. Like I'm telling you, it's real facts, right? So it's kind of scary to think about it that Americans don't even understand that, bro. Your people weren't here either. That's the reason why you got an Independence Day that is so recent, right? And it's really sad, but a lot of Americans don't understand that, people came and that's how America even existed. So it's kind of sad.
People around, go into different rooms, explain what the architecture was about. So we got to the House of Commons, and there's 3 sets of doors. the French, the English, and the Canadian doors. So the two different colonizing cultures that came together to create Canada to enter through the Canadian doors. And then the American tourist comes up to me and full out seriously asks me, where are the American doors? Like, well, aren't we part of your, like, founding you? Like, where are our doors? And I just, like, stared at him like, why would there be American doors again? And he looked back at me, and he was also confused at his own question. And we just kind of stared at each other until I just, like, wandered away.
So I'm a customer service agent, and an American guy had called in. We quickly started talking, and I mentioned that I was from Cape Town. He tried to mention a few places in Cape Town that he could remember. So he mentioned Table Mountain, and he started talking about the animals that we have, you know, like the lions that roam the earth. And then he quickly said that he can remember that we had a natural disaster called apartheid.
A what?
At first I thought he was talking about the ocean, but then I realized that he thought apartheid was a natural disaster. So I quickly moved
Yo,
the
somebody in the
conversation
comments who actually understand what she's saying, because I really don't get what she's really saying. Like, if y'all can explain, do that for me, please. I don't really know what she's talking about.
away from that topic, and I asked him if I could further assist him on his account. Because, what?
Hi. Yeah, fellow American here. And this is still the dumbest thing an American has ever said to me, because I'm from Alaska, the 49th state, which somehow gets lost in translation to the 48 other states that came before us, who somehow forget that we're a state, because then we have people who come up to Alaska and they walk into my tour shop and they're like, hi, where's the currency exchange? Are you planning a trip to Canada? We are, like, right close to the border. No. I need Alaskan money. Are you not from the United States? No, I'm from Kansas. But I need Alaskan money. Ma'am, did you miss the giant American flag right outside I can see it out my window. There's also one at the post office just across the street. It's the same money. Stay tuned for part 2.
Okay, we've all seen the stitch. That's the guy saying, what's the dumbest thing an American's ever said to you? I want to know, if you're an American, what's the dumbest thing a non-American ever said to you, like, about America, that you were just like, oh, you've never actually known anything about the realities of America, you've only ever watched our television shows.
Plot twist.
First, I had a roommate, this was in Canada, she was Canadian, who told me that because my mother got her medical degree in America, her definition of healthy was not actual health. It was different from the Canadian doctor version of healthy. My mother wasn't actually a health expert.
Oh.
My mother did her undergrad at the same Canadian school I went to.
Okay, so basically like 7 or 8 years ago, I was at Victoria Coach Station in London. And I met this American girl, and we started talking, and she's like, oh my God, where you from? And I was like, well, I was born and raised in Romania, but I've been living in England for like 3 years now. And we started talking about different topics, blah, blah. And then we started talking about politics. And I don't actually remember what I said, but I was talking about the Romanian president. And he's like, oh my God, he did this and blah, and I'm not really into politics. And then she looked at me like she was flabbergasted, like,
She ain't
wow.
knew y'all got a president.
And then she asked me, oh, you guys have a president as well? I thought it was just an American thing.
I thought so too. I'm not, like, I don't know if y'all be doing these type of honesty type stuff too, but I'm straight up, bro. I ain't gonna lie to you. I thought so too. When I found out that other countries actually had presidents too, I was like, for real? I was shocked. I'm not gonna lie to you. I came along a far way on this journey, and I ain't gonna lie to you guys, man. I ain't gonna make it seem like I know everything.
An American has ever said to you?
I'm late to the trend, but I need to tell this. So a long time ago, I was on vacations with my family in Mexico. And usually we have direct flights from Mexico to Lisbon. Yes, I'm Portuguese. And yeah, we had a direct flight from Lisbon to Cancun
And we were supposed to also have a direct flight from Cancun to Lisbon, but there were problems. So instead, we needed to do a stop in the United States. So when we stopped at the United States and they asked to see our passports, things got confusing. Because when the policemen took our passports for the control for checking, they said that we could not pass because our passports were wrong. He says that where it says country, it should be Spain because Portugal is not a country, but a city from Spain.
So I'm American, obviously, but I got a story for you. This one time, I was at an audition in Nashville, and I was sitting next to this pretty blonde girl. I asked her where she was from, and she said, "I'm from Alabama. How about
Alabama?
you?" Nice. I'm from
Got
Oklahoma.
that country accent.
Huh? I'm from Oklahoma. What is that? Excuse me? What is that? What is it? It's a state. Like in the United States? Yes. In the United States of America. I've never...
This one is the craziest one I've ever heard. She didn't... She definitely locked away more than I am. Because I know a lot of things, but I know Americans. Like, I've told people on these videos many times, Americans don't even know their own states. They're like, no, that's garbage. I'm like, yeah, that's facts. Americans are really locked away in their place, bro. If you're from New York, you're from New York. You don't know nothing else. I'm just being 100 with you guys, man. I'm being for real.
Heard of that? You've never heard of Oklahoma? No, where is that? It's like right in the middle of the country. Like right above Texas, you know? Oh. So it's next to California? That is 100% a true story.
So this has probably happened to me at least 5 times, and Trevor Noah has spoken about this in one of his comedy specials. I forget which one. I'm sure many Africans who have lived, worked, or studied abroad can relate to this. Basically, I went to university in Australia, and there I met a lot of American exchange students who are mostly really lovely people. But a lot of the times the conversation would go like this. They'd ask where I'm from. I'd say I'm from Botswana. They'd ask, oh, where's Botswana? I'd say Botswana's a country in Southern Africa. They're like, oh, Southern Africa? And then they'll say, oh, I met this random African person from a random African country, and then they ask me if I know them. I don't just know everybody from Africa. You wouldn't meet 2 people from New York and just assume they know each other. So why would you assume 2 people from different countries on a whole continent know each other?
That's wild. That's wild.